When it comes to Trump, and I don't often talk about Trump because I feel, I'm in the UK, Trump's in the US, it's not my place to talk about Mr. Trump, but there are times when it's necessary. And yesterday, Mr. Trump gave an interview. He was talking to Laura Ingraham, and he was asked about Navalny. And what Trump does is talk about himself. It's all Trump, Trump, Trump. In the north of England, Trump is simply a euphemism for flatulence, which I think goes down rather well, doesn't it? The concept rather than the flatulence, the concept rather than Mr. Trump. And Trump was asked about Mr. Navalny, and he said, well, he was a very brave man. I agree entirely, of course. He didn't have to return to Russia, but he chose to do so. And he then said that the trials, the legal trials which he is going through, the fraud trials and so on, are a form of Navalny. It's a form of communism or fascism. Surely it's a form of a moral outrage. It's a form of legal redress for the for the legal mess that he seems to have left behind. Whether it's right or wrong, it needs clearing up, doesn't it? Isn't that the point about legal actions? Mr. Trump has left behind a mess, and to take our euphemism earlier, it's Trump and follow through, and somebody has to clean that up. He says about Navalny, he was a very brave guy because he went back. He could have stayed away and, frankly, probably would have been a lot better off staying away and talking from outside the country. It's happening in our country too, he goes on. We are turning into a communist country in many ways. I have 8 or 9 trials, all because of the fact that I'm in politics. Actually, there isn't a comparison between Mr. Trump and Mr. Navalny. First of all, Mr. Navalny is dead. And secondly, Mr. Navalny was a virtuous man. And, can I even say that? Trump wrote to the Truth Social about Navalny's death in the Arctic gulag. He said it made him more aware of what is happening in the United States. No. The only thing that is more aware is the United States perhaps didn't do enough to put pressure on Mr. Putin to release Mr. Navalny. But is there any pressure that the United States could have put on? Well, it could have avoided sanctions, and therefore could have kept a significant more of a diplomatic relationship with Mr. Putin, and therefore a lot more control over what happens. But Biden's response is, why does Trump always blame America? Putin is responsible for Navalny's death. Why can't Trump just say that? Well, that's also true. But Trump wants to make everything about Trump. But Putin, for that matter, wants to make everything about Putin. These are self-indulgent rulers.